The big story coming in, the Russian Federal Security Service has said that its officers had detained a suicide bomber, a member of the Islamic State terrorist group, who was plotting a terrorist attack against one of India's leadership elite. That's the big story coming in. According to Russia's news agency Sputnik, they are reporting that the Russian Federal Security Service has said that its officers had detained a suicide bomber, a member of the Islamic State, the IS terrorist group, who was plotting a terror attack against one of India's leadership elite. That's what the Russian news agency Sputnik is reporting, that Russia's FSB identified and detained a member of the Islamic State banned in Russia, a native of a country in the Central Asian region, who was plotting an attack on one of India's leadership elite. Let's go across to Shivani joining us for more on this. Shivani, this is a big revelation coming from Russia. Sputnik reporting that Islamic State was plotting an attack on one of India's leadership elite.
Certainly, this big revelation that's coming in, where the Russia's federal agency has now detained this Islamic State terrorist. And very important out here to mention is that there was a elite personality from the ruling party in India who was on target of this particular terrorist, who happens to be a suicide bomber. And it has also been revealed, Rohit, that he happens to be from a Central Asian country. Which country is that? Is it Pakistan or is it Afghanistan? Which country is that? That's a big question, and very soon it will be also revealed that he is from this particular country. But this is for sure that the international network for these terrorists is actually getting a facilitation in the Pakistan-owned territory, and as well as in Afghanistan also, Rohit, as the agencies have mentioned that this happens to be a terrorist from a Central Asian country. And he was actually trying to target somebody who is a big politician from India. Who could be that politician? And the modus operandi here, which has been mentioned by the agency, was a suicide attacker. He was a suicide attacker. A number of material has been found on him, which also includes explosives. He was planning to attack somebody in India who happens to be a big leader. So that is also quite alarming, and we can also connect the dots with what happened in Bihar in last few months. There was a nexus of all these terrorists who were planning for Islamic Jihad. In the name of Islamic Jihad, they were trying to plan something very big. And this is the international nexus of these terrorists that clearly shows that how Pakistani-supported terrorism is flourishing in all these countries, and they have their network even in the countries like Russia, where the federal agency has now arrested this particular terrorist from Islamic State.
Shivani, has there been reports of threats to Indian leaders from the Islamic State terrorist organization?
See, the intelligence agencies keep sharing their inputs. Sometimes they do not reveal these inputs in public for security reasons. But certainly in last few months, if we talk about, there have been threats about the targets that these terrorists are trying to do on the Indian politicians. And there have been threats, and there have been mails also sometimes received by these agencies, where the agencies are doing their work, and they are also trying to figure out which are the agencies or which are the sleeping modules who are still active in capital, also in national capital, also including many other states like Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. The ATS of Uttar Pradesh had also busted a gang of these terrorists last year, which had some connection with the Islamic State terror organization. So the intelligence agencies are doing their work, and they have been receiving such inputs that such kind of nexus is going on, where the Islamic State terrorists, along with many other terror organizations, have been trying to target Indian politicians. And this one, where we see that the Russian Federal Security Agency has now arrested this particular Islamic State terrorist, also shows that there have been plans by these terrorists to target the big politicians of India.
Shivani, two more questions. Has over the years and recently the threat from Islamic State and various other terrorist groups on Indian leaders, has that threat level increased over the last few days, weeks, or maybe in the last couple of years? Also, to attack an Indian leader, and first of all, suicide bombing is extremely rare here in India. And to attack an Indian leader, to target an Indian leader, you have to cross multiple security agencies. You have to breach multiple security agencies, which is, far from easy.
Correct. Rohit, if we talk about the threats that are increasing or not, certainly they have been on an increase. And if we particularly mention the time span, in last 1 year since the Taliban took over the Afghanistan government, a number of terror organizations have got a place to flourish, to work, and they have been crossing borders, not only the Afghanistan border, but we know that a lot of launch pads have been installed along the Indian borders, also on the Western Front, where a lot of terrorists, around 400 terrorists, are trying to cross and intrude the Indian borders. And these are the terrorists of various organizations, including the Islamic State also. They are working hand in glove. And certainly, as you said, that it's not easy. The suicide bombing is not easy because our security agencies, including the army, the police, the anti-terrorist squad, they are all on a very high alert. They are on a vigil pertaining to these kind of attacks which are being planned of late. And that is why as and when these terrorists are trying to either cross the border or they are trying to strategize this kind of attack, they are being arrested by the agencies. And this one in Russia has also shown that not only in the Indian territory, but these terrorists are trying to use other countries also. And they are active globally. They are trying to increase their network in Pakistan, in Afghanistan, in Bangladesh also, and also in countries like Russia. So the Russian security agency has now arrested this particular terrorist, and they are trying to now analyze the information that has come out from his interrogation, and further more details will be emerging. And certainly the security agencies in India will get in touch with the Russia security agencies, and they'll try and find out where and how this particular terrorist was trying the attack, and what was the strategy, who all are now involved, and where could they be possibly, so that they can be arrested too.
All right, very important piece of information there. This news, Shivani, breaking that Russia has detained an Islamic State bomber. The bomber was plotting a terror attack against one of India's elite, someone from India's ruling elite. And this terrorist was from Central